The presentation I'm giving today is from the Successful Club series. So it's from the traditional education program. And this particular project or presentation is called Going Beyond Our Club. I'm going to do things a little differently. I'm going to go beyond the presentation as well when I do the Going Beyond Our Club presentation. Before we talk about what going beyond the club, let's just refresh our memories about what happens in the club itself. And if you remember, we all commit to certain things when we join a Toastmasters organization or a particular club, and that's to attend meetings regularly, to fulfill meeting roles or speech assignments to the best of our ability, and to step up and serve the club as a club officer. So if, for example, you feel that you have fulfilled these commitments to the club and you're ready to move on, what else is out there in the wider Toastmaster world beyond the club that you can go to for further learning, for further experience, and to develop your skills? So there's a few things. First of all, let's start with speech contests. So we have 4 speech contests that we run twice a year. And you can learn various skills by participating in these contests. So time management, organization, listening, delegation, and facilitating. And the way you do that is by taking on a role at the contest. So either as a competitor in one of the speech contests, or contest chair. So that's the person who organizes the event, brings it all together. We have the contest Toastmaster, who's responsible for introducing the speakers, much like a Toastmaster of a regular meeting. And then we have the chief judge and his team of judges, counters, timers, and sergeant at arms. The judges have to be impartial to judge each speech without bias. The counters obviously have to be diligent in tallying up the ballots and returning the result with the aid of the chief judge. And the timers are there to signal the speakers so that they should try not to go over time. And the sergeant at arms are responsible for escorting contestants and the audience in and out. And obviously the final and a key participant in a speech contest is the audience. So they're a passive role, but they do provide instant feedback into the speakers in terms of how they respond to the speech. So when our next contest comes up, I would love for as many club members, of our club members, to get involved. Speech contests run at club level, they run at area level, division level, and district level. And of course, if you've been paying attention, you would have seen Dan competing at the District 91 conference earlier this year, just a couple of months ago. So moving on from the speech contests, what kind of leadership opportunities are available in Toastmasters? Well, starting off at club level, we know that we have an executive committee of club officers that help run the club on behalf of the members. And congratulations to Afia for joining the committee as secretary. Above the club, we have the area level. So each area has a number of clubs. So in our particular area, we have Croydon Communicators, Speakers of Croydon, Pearly Speakers, Liberty Speakers, Legacy Speakers, and Clapham Connectors. And each of those clubs will be supported by an area director, and our incoming area director is going to be Debbie, and she will be our link to the district. Above the area, we have the division leaders, or the division roles, and they're the link between the area and the district. And then above them, we have the district leadership team. And at all these levels, there are lots of events, workshops, training opportunities available to members of Toastmasters and members of the club. So have a look out. Our VP of PR, Florence, who's not with us tonight, she's very good about advertising or making our members aware of all these opportunities, or just speak to one of the other club officers. If you want, you can go beyond this to Toastmasters International level and serve on their board of directors and help guide the whole organization to continue its purpose and its mission. So as I mentioned, there's seminars, there's workshops, there's plenty of things to get involved in. If you're not going to be involved in a leadership role, go along and watch. It's always something to learn. Now, I'm going to focus a little bit more on what I think is really key about going beyond our club meetings, which is going out to other clubs. So this year in particular, I have tried to make it my focus to try and step out of Croydon Communicators, obviously try and support our local area clubs, but also try and visit some new clubs that I haven't been to previously. And I have managed to visit a number of clubs, done a number of general evaluator roles. I've been the chief judge at another club. I've done quite a few roles as judge in club contests and area contests across London. And there's a lot of benefits to going out there beyond the obvious opportunities that you get. There are also the refreshments. So there's one particular club I went to. It's set on top of a pub, and at the end of each meeting, their landlord serves them up some hot, tasty treats. As you can see, on the night that I was there, the chicken satay was particularly popular. But even this club was outdone by another one. So this club that I went to very recently, I would say, served wine, cheese, biscuits, other nibbles, beers, you name it. And fortunately, I got there about 30 minutes before the meeting started. So I had a great time even before the meeting began. And I will, for those of you who are wondering what those two clubs are, well, they're one of the 14 on this list. So feel free to go out, explore, and find out what they are. So like I said, I had been kind of building up some momentum visiting these clubs. I had a few general evaluator roles lined up as well at new clubs that I hadn't visited in London, when we were all rudely interrupted by this unwelcome guest, the coronavirus pandemic, of course. But with every cloud, or shall I say, there was a silver lining to this COVID-19 cloud, and that was, you know, the opportunity opened up for us to go everywhere, basically. We weren't limited geographically to attend club meetings just to where we could go. Moreover, as you might know, you might be familiar with Dan, who is our frequent flyer on Toastmasters Airways. I mean, over the last 2 years, he's quite as likely to be found at a club in California, say, as he would be at a club in Croydon. And he's brought so many wonderful people back to our meetings. And again, this recent change hasn't faced him at all, and we still see so many wonderful guests coming from over the world, and Jan is also going out elsewhere. Similarly, Florence announced very recently that she had visited a club in Pennsylvania, and then she also said that she'd followed that up by arranging a visit to a club in New York, and then also a conference in East Africa, Toastmasters district there. And that inspired me and motivated me to kind of go on my own kind of world tour of Toastmaster clubs. So one morning, Saturday morning, I logged in and I attended a meeting in South Africa, Cape Town. Two great speeches I was lucky to witness, and I got involved with the table topics there. Later that day, I ended up in St. Petersburg, where I was roped in to be the timekeeper. They were short of role players. I'd originally gone because their whole theme for the meeting was the importance of toilet paper, and all their roles were somehow designed around that theme and topic. It was quite fun. Later that night, Dan dragged me and Florence into a meeting in California, where he was the joke master, a role that I wasn't familiar with, and I was convinced to be the R-counter at that particular meeting. Following day, I was in the Southern Hemisphere again in Perth, where they were having a fancy dress costume-themed meeting. That was really fun. And then a little later, I was over in New Zealand. And you may remember that Helen joined us back at, gave Dan a winning evaluation last week. Then I was back in the USSR at Moscow's oldest Toastmaster club. And again, Svetlana and Olga, you might remember from the last meeting coming and joining us at Croydon Communicators. Final leg of the journey, back across the pond to Florida. And again, Dan was giving us a speech here. And this is actually Jana's home club, who you'll remember has been at some of our most recent meetings. And she opened up the meeting with what they call an energizer. She gave us a karaoke rendition of Summer Loving, as well as the rest of her club members, which was fun. And then just a little later, and geographically just down the road, I was at another club in Florida called World Toasters. It's based in Disneyland. I was a little disappointed that Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck didn't show up, but it was a great meeting. So what did I get out of all this? Well, you get to meet a lot of new people. You get a lot of new ideas to bring back, which hopefully I'm going to share with you over the few coming weeks. And obviously, you hope that you also give back something to the clubs that you have visited. So in conclusion, let's see, where are we? Oh yeah, so 8 different clubs in 5 different countries across 5 days. And like I said, I thought it would be tiring visiting all these clubs, but it actually invigorated my passion for Toastmasters, because you step out of your comfort zone, you've also step out somewhere familiar, and then you find that there's so much to experience outside of your own club. So like I said, there are opportunities everywhere. There are clubs operating everywhere at the moment. It's a unique opportunity. So go beyond. Learning and leadership options are abound in Toastmasters. Really expand your abilities by going beyond the club, participating in contests, like I said earlier. Visit our neighboring clubs, visit clubs far and wide as you can with Zoom. For as long as we can. I know that the club in New Zealand, Hutt Valley, they're going back to their in-person meetings very shortly, so they might not be available, but certainly there are other clubs around the world you can visit. There's conferences, seminars, workshops going on all the time. Keep a lookout for them, get involved. If you don't want to help run them, just attend and you can learn something. And it's all about stage time. So practice, practice, practice. I found the more meetings I attend, the better you get at Toastmasters. So back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Round of applause for Aseem. Thank you very much, Aseem. That was very, very informative. I'm in awe of you, and I concur that it is really important for us to get out there and visit other clubs to see what they're doing, see what they have on offer, see what you can learn as well. So wonderful, wonderful. I take my hat off to you and Dan and to Florence. I don't have the energy for all that travel, all that jet setting.